former prisoners who have served long sentences don't have anyone to assist in their transition to life outside of prison. Heidi Moore is the coordinator of Release to Rent, one of the long-term assistance programs provided by Criminal Justice Minstry. We've been talking about Criminal Justice Minstry throughout the show today, and you play a very important role in the services that are provided. So tell us a little bit about Release to Rent.
Well, as Sister Carlene had mentioned, Release to Rent started in 2003 as a need for the men coming home from prison after serving a long time, and they couldn't find anywhere to live. Not everyone can go home to family. And I like to say we fill in the gaps where family is either unable to or unwilling to, and probation and parole can't.
Right.
So we get them 1 bedroom, 1 bath or studio apartments scattered throughout the city from different landlords. They go on the lease, they get a rental history. It's a sliding scale of rent, so they slowly over the years start paying higher portions of their rent to the landlord, learning how to make that relationship. The apartment's furnished, and they can keep living there after they're gone. After they're completed the program, if they can afford it, they can keep living there so they don't have to go out and search for a new place again.
So how long is the program?
The program, the Release to Rent main program is 1 year. And then our Release to Rent Veteran, which is our sister program, is a 2-year program for veterans with a criminal record.
And so Release to Rent, you literally work with them from the day they're released from prison.
We pick them up from prison or the bus station. I've interviewed them prior to their release, and then talked to them a few times on the phone before their release and prepared them for the release. And then case managers pick them up from the prison or the bus station, and the first couple of days are whirlwinds for them. I mean, grocery shopping, the sensory overload at a grocery store is amazing, because our longest guy did 49 years in prison, but most of my guys have done 20, 30, 40 years. So when you think about going in the grocery store, and my famous that I like to pitch all the time is milk. When you went into the store 20 years ago and found milk, there was just a few choices. Now you go in the store, almond, I thought it was a nut. Soy milk, Lactaid, coconut milk, and then you have all the store brands, and it's just sensory overload for these guys.
That's really interesting. So are you selective about your clientele? Are you looking for particular people that are very motivated to succeed in that first year, or do you not need to be selective in that way?
I'm very selective because we don't want to ruin the relationships with the landlords that we have. And so some people do want their own place, but they're not ready for it. But then again, you don't want to get someone that's too motivated, because they'll make it without our help.
Okay.
So you have to, it's a fine line, because someone highly motivated can make it without our assistance. There's a few people that won't make it without our assistance, and those are the ones I try to target in on.
So your background before working for Criminal Justice Minstry, you were a probation and parole officer. So with that experience, and how long did you do that?
5 years.
5 years. So that experience probably has helped you, I would assume, to identify who the perfect selection or a client would be for the program.
I'd like to think so. It helps me connect with institutional staff and get referrals and ask questions that clients, it may throw them off. It's against institutional policy to make a 3-way phone call. So if someone's girlfriend calls me and it's a 3-way phone call, I know that they're okay with violating institutional rules. And so that alone, I immediately say,
it's a red flag.
Yes. And so
you want somebody who's ready and willing to follow the rules.
Right.
Yeah, because you're going to put a lot of rules in front of them, I would imagine.
There's not a lot of rules, which is why we want someone that we can trust to follow the rules when there are a lot of rules.
Sure.
We just have a couple of rules. No one can live with you, and no one can be there when you're not there and stay in contact with us. I'm a 10 group. We have 1 parole officer assigned to our program, so we work with probation and parole, and that's one of the reasons our program is so successful, is the ability to communicate with probation and parole, both federal and state. And we're a team, with treatment staff.
And Heidi, in addition to your background working in the prison system, you also have family members who are in the prison system. So let's talk about that real quick.
Yes, well, right now my cousin has 20 in on a 30, and the Missouri Department of Corrections.
Yeah.
And so I've been the family member on the other end of the line who wants to hang up on them because they upset you, or who wants to call back or call someone, and who's given news of a family member's death over the phone, and you can't be there to console them.
So you understand from a very personal perspective what our prisoners are going through, what they're experiencing, and what it's like when they're ready to come out, because you're dealing with that in your own family.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very unique.
Okay. And we have case management staff that's on call 24/7, and that's another aspect in both our veteran program and release to rent. They're on call 24/7 to walk the guys through whatever they need.
And you say guys, is it just guys or
Yeah,
guys?
there's only men in our program.
Okay.
Direct Services serves women, and then the volunteers help women in the jails, the workhouse, the local jails.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to have to wrap up now, but thank you so much, Heidi, for telling us all about one more aspect of the Criminal Justice Ministry program. Stay tuned to STL TV Live. In our next segment, I'll tell you about a support group for the spouses of the incarcerated. We'll be right back.